This is going to be my entry video for the Gladiator Challenge Spring Innovations. So today, on this side of the bench, we are building a heat table. I already have the sides up on it for the next step. And the next step is going to be the insulation to, help fill the cracks, help keep it warmer. Alright, now I got the insulation in. I put a double layer just because I had it, so I might as well use it. Next step is going to be putting the plastic in it to help keep the insulation dry. There's not going to be a whole lot of water on this, but you want to protect it. Now this is just some plastic we have laying around, and I lined it with that on top of that insulation. Next step is going to be putting some, I got rock. You can use sand in this or anything, but I got a little bit of rock, so I'm going to go ahead and put some of that in there. There we go. A couple inches of that. I don't want to fill this all the way up with rock because of the weight of it would be too much. But now we're going to go to the next step, which is placing our heating cable in here. And you may ask, why not just use the heat mats? Well, I find the heat mats are too small. They do a great job. We're making a bigger one for way less than it costs to buy two small heating mats. I do succession planning. I have a lot of crops going in the ground all throughout the year, no matter if it's hot or cold. So I need something that I can turn on or turn off when I need it or when I don't need it. So this can double as just a table, or it can be a heating mat. So the next step is, like I said, putting the heating cables in there. Where the heating tape ran, on top of it, I'm going to use the vermiculite because it is lighter. This table does a great job, but it is quite heavy after you get, the water in the water table and then more rock on top of that. I just have that rock in there to hold that bit of moisture, and this is really going to help. You can use sand, but they said it tends to dry out. And by that, I'm just researching online about different things on how to make this. And I really like the idea of using the lightweight vermiculite. So I'm going to use this. Okay, that took a little longer than I expected. But this is the thing with the heating coil tape, or whatever you want to call it, cable, is it can't be no more than 3 inches apart to efficiently work. And it cannot do any crisscrossing or touching. So I've been probably going to have to go one at a time through this and really make sure it's not, and bury it at the same time. But I just wanted to show you the design that I was doing mine in. And I'm going to get this covered, get it pushed down. Now, in the instructions, it says that you can use a hardware cloth to go over top of this. That way you don't get into the cable with any tools, but I'm not going to have tools here. This is just going to be a table, so I'm not going to be doing that. Now I'm going to go ahead and get this stuck down, make sure it's not touching. I went ahead and got the other bag of vermiculite that I had. Went ahead and pre-moistened it so I can put it right on top and not disturb the coils or the cable that I have going through there, because they're all not touching. They're all less than 3 inches apart, so it's all perfect. Now I don't want to disturb it, so I'm just going to layer this on here. I've pushed it down a lot and it keeps popping up, so I have to use the 4th bag. But this is a 3-foot by 3-foot table, bench top. That's a good area to start seeds on this winter, this fall, next spring, because of course we already have our seeds germinating or growing. Now we just don't want to see any of this heating cable. Without moving it. But the main thing, the instructions say not to let the heating cable be visible. So we want to make sure it's good and buried. And if I had room in the pot and shed part, the shed part, I'd put it in there. But I don't have room. It's full. Now, the main thing is when I do have seeds germinating on this, not to let this dry out. Which is why I put those small rocks on the bottom. That will help hold the moisture. I know sand would dry out way more than this would. This holds a lot more water. Plants do not need light to germinate. So, in early spring, when this is out here, when I can turn this propagation table, heat mat table, whatever you want to call it, on, and it is going to warm the soil in the plant, in the cell that I plant, and the seed will germinate because the soil is warm. And it doesn't need any light. It doesn't need the light to germinate. After it germinates, that's when we will bring it in here and put it on the underneath the grow lights. And then when it is warm enough, they can come out here into the greenhouse. Okay, I moistened the vermiculite, and as you can see, all the wires are down in there and you can't see them. Now I'm going to wire up the thermostat, and when the temperatures get really low at night, like 30 or 40, I can also put these little tomato plants, these micro tomato plants, in on the heating table, turn it on the 70, and I won't have to worry. The soil temperature matters more than the temperature outside when it's in a greenhouse. Here are the items that I used on the heating table. I've got a thermostat, and you don't need a thermostat. I just chose to get one. The insulation, the soil heating cable, 3 bags of vermiculite. This is what I ended up with. So I have like 2 inches of rock and 2 inches of vermiculite, and right now it's very light. This is going to be a very good addition to our farm and for the garden. It'll help keep the plants healthy, happy, and I will be more relaxed about leaving them out here in the greenhouse when the temperatures dip down to very low. Because I could also build a frame around this and have a double cover if need be, if it got really, really cold. And that way I don't have to build a fire. I've heard a lot of good things about the heating cable and the building your own heating mat. And like I said, I got a 3-foot by 4-foot heating table for the same price as it costs for 2 small heating mats. So if you are doing a large quantity of seedlings in the spring or fall or during the winter like we are, it is probably good. And if you have a space to set this up, I use the scrap wood, and the only thing I bought was the vermiculite, the heating cable, and the thermostat. And it's a great spring innovation. And I thank you all for watching. Hope y'all have a great day, and y'all come back.